It's being considered a landmark lawsuit. Grassy Narrows First Nation is suing both the Ontario and federal governments, accusing the administrations of allowing a vital river in the region to be poisoned for decades. Joining us to talk more about the lawsuit is Adrienne Telford, the lawyer representing Grassy Narrows. Adrienne, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
For those who are not familiar, this dates back, as noted, several years. This is not new. However, the lawsuit being presented just in the last week is huge. It is significant. Take us back through the years and tell us where you are today.
Well, it's gone back decades, over 50 years now that both the federal and the provincial crown have failed to protect the people of Grassy Narrows, their health, their territory, their ability to exercise their treaty rights and practice their way of life. So this all started with the Dryden Mill discharging over 9 metric tons of mercury into the river system, unbeknownst to Grassy Narrows downstream. And so they were poisoned over the decades. And unfortunately, that poisoning hasn't stopped, and nor has that environmental degradation stopped. So last month, we found out that the Crown is still allowing the Dryden Mill to discharge contaminants. It's not mercury, but it's sulfates and organic waste, which are well known to science to make the mercury problem much worse. So it transforms the mercury into the most toxic form of mercury that gets into the food chain, into the fish that Grassy Narrows people eat, and it's the most toxic form to humans. So there's that piece, and then on top of all that, Grassy Narrows is also having to continue to fight against clear-cut logging in its territory, which is also known to increase the mercury load in the ecosystem, as well as now there's mining activities. They're fighting at least 2 gold mines in or around their territory. And the Crown is also looking to locate a nuclear waste disposal site in their headwaters. So it's the cumulative impacts of all these things on Grassy Narrows treaty rights.
How many people over the years have fell ill?
So let me say this. Every single person in Grassy Narrows has been impacted by the mercury. The suffering has been immense. The health impacts are severe and debilitating. They range from physical conditions to also mental health and emotional health. So the sad thing is that with recent studies, we've realized that the actual impacts on the body and mental health are much more pervasive than previously known. So scientists have been able to show that there are increased cardiac conditions in Grassy Narrows. There are also obviously the classic neurological symptoms. So people have trouble with their balance. They feel tremors in their limbs and burning sensation. They can have difficulty seeing, eating, speaking, walking. And then on top of that, the mercury has also been linked to premature death of elders. So Grassy Narrows, the community are losing their elders, which are a very important source of passing on their culture. And then sadly, it's been also linked to youth suicide. And so Grassy Narrows has one of the highest rates of youth suicide in the province of Ontario amongst First Nations.
Adrienne, in taking on the province and the federal government, that is no easy feat. I assume this process, it could take years. What sort of response are you expecting?
Well, after decades of the government not doing the right thing, we would hope that the government will finally fulfill its obligations to Grassy Narrows. This has been going on for far too long, and the people have been suffering. And as I mentioned before, the elders are passing away, and they've waited a very long time in order to see some meaningful measure of justice. So certainly Grassy Narrows is motivated to get this matter heard by the courts, but the justice system isn't known for its speed, and it really depends on how the province and how the federal government defend this lawsuit.
Finally, for you, there is no monetary value tied to this suit at this point. That could change?
Yes, certainly the goal is to make the people of Grassy Narrows whole and for them to be able to restore their Anishinaabe way of life. Now, from a legal perspective, we would say the liability is accruing each day, including as the government allows the mill to continue to operate and continue to harm the environment and the people downstream. And so I would say it's premature at this point in time to put an actual number, a dollar value on it, but certainly that would happen at a later stage in the litigation.
Okay, more to come. We will definitely continue to follow this developing story with you. Adrienne Telford, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.